Hi, I'm Courtney and this is Joey, and today's video is going to be on ferret holiday safety. I know I do a lot of training videos and that's my focus for this channel, but I also wanted to do a few videos on just ferret care and things that you should consider during the holiday season. Here in the United States, we're about to celebrate Thanksgiving, and then in December we have other holidays. We've got Christmas, Hanukkah, just a lot of family gatherings and a lot of people traveling, and it's really important that you make a plan for your ferret, because with all the hustle and bustle, some people might forget that these guys are having a lot to deal with because their normal daily activities are being changed around, and sometimes that can stress them out. So we want to ease that and do the best we can for our little ferrets and make sure that they are properly taken care of. So we need to be sure we make a good plan for our ferret to be sure that they're not left alone. They're not like gerbils or mice or animals that you should just leave a bunch of food out and they'll be okay. It's best if somebody is around your ferret at all times to keep an eye on them and make sure that they're not having any issues. So what I'm going to go over in this video are 4 scenarios that are the most common for what you would be doing with your ferret during a holiday. So one would be if people are coming to your house. Another situation might be if you decided to have a friend or a pet sitter look after your ferret. You could take your ferret to be boarded at a vet's office that specializes in exotics. Or you might be traveling with your ferret. So I want to go through all of those scenarios and talk about what you should do to be sure that your ferret is safe. So the first situation would be if people are coming over to your house. Let's say you're cooking and you're going to have everybody over, and so your ferret is already used to the home, which is good, but the people that are coming over may not be used to ferrets. So you may want to either confine your ferret to a smaller area of the house, kind of away from everything, so it's a little bit quieter. You don't have to worry about the noise stressing them out. You might give them extra blankets and toys, and that might work out just fine. But if you want your ferret to be let out, you just need to be sure that you really educate your guests. Be sure that everybody knows you can't just give a ferret scraps, like table scraps. That could actually get them really sick. It can cause a blockage. Their body's only designed to eat meat. That anything with sugar can really damage them. So be sure everybody knows you do not give a ferret table scraps. It's not mean. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's so cruel, they should have something. No, it's actually best. That's actually looking out for their well-being to not give them things. So educate them on that. Educate them on ferrets being out. You don't want any of them to get stepped on. That could lead to serious injury or even death. So make sure everybody is aware of where the ferrets are at. Be sure everybody knows that if they are in the bathroom, they need to leave that toilet seat down. Joey can climb on top of a toilet seat. He can get up there with no problem, and if he were to get down in the water, hopefully he would get out, but if not, he could drown. So it's just better to be safe than sorry, so let everybody know. Keep that lid down. Also, with everything going on at your house, you need to be sure your ferret isn't stressed. Look for signs. Sometimes ferrets will poof out their tail, they'll hide, they'll try to get away from everything, they might make a little bit of a hiss noise. You know your ferret. Just be sure that you check on him from time to time. Be sure that everything with all the family and friends that are over isn't stressing them. If it is, just move them as far away from the commotion as you can. Give them lots of blankets, a dark area, and let them just kind of nestle down in there and leave them alone. So that's one situation. Another is if you have a friend or a pet sitter that's coming over. Now, a pet sitter may not know about ferret care as much. You really need to educate them as well. Educate them on how much playtime, how much food and water, and how often needs to be changed. Here, Joey. Let me get him another treat. Here you go. Okay, so just give them an idea about ferrets. Don't assume that they know, because ferrets are still not as common as cats and dogs, and I'd rather you over-educate than just assume. So be sure that they know everything about your ferret. Make sure that they have the vet phone number and the emergency vet phone number, because on holidays it's going to be harder to find someone to take care of your pet. So just be sure they have the information. They need to know that ferrets can go downhill really fast. If they're showing any signs of not eating or just being more lethargic or anything, they need to call. Because with these guys, you don't want to just watch them for a few days, because in a few days they could be dying. It's just the truth about ferrets. They're so little and they're delicate, and they need vet care quicker than some other animals. So just keep that in mind, and pay your pet sitter. Pay them. It's a holiday. It could be your friend, but still just pay them for their time. It will in turn help be sure they're properly taking care of your animal. It's just the nice thing to do. I know some people trade off, like, you watch my pet sometimes, I'll watch yours another time. You know, that might work out, but it's just a friend that's doing it to be nice. Please pay them. That's just my personal opinion. Also, your option could be to board your ferret. Now, that is a safe option. Sometimes it might be expensive, but at least you have a qualified staff there that will be able to recognize if your ferret is becoming sick or stressed out. They would be able to provide care for them, and you don't need to worry. Yes, they might be caged a little bit longer, but at least you'll know that they are safe, and peace of mind is a great thing. You'll need to bring blankets, toys, things they're familiar with. I know that when Joey boarded, I took blankets that he was used to from his cage. They smelled like home. You can also wear a t-shirt for a day or two and get your smell on it, so they'll feel more comfortable. They'll know that smell is yours, and it might comfort them while you're away. And then the other option is if you're traveling with your ferret to either a hotel or another person's house, there's a lot that you should think about. The first thing is, how are you going to get there, and how are you going to be safe? So I want to show you how, thank you. I want to show you how I strap Joey's crate in the car just to be safe. So we're going to go outside, and I want to show you exactly what we do. Okay, so here we are in the car. I went ahead and put the seat belt through the handle here of his crate and then down, and I clasped it in, because if I ever got rear-ended or had to hit the brakes real fast, I just feel like this is the safest way. Joey doesn't get to travel in the car that much, and I feel like in the crate is the best bet for him. So it's kind of cold where I live, so he's trying to figure out how to get under the blankets really quickly. So let's go back inside so he can get warm. Okay, so now we're all warm inside. Joey's thankful. That's how I strap him in the car. You can also do that in the back seat if you would like. It doesn't have to be up front. And then obviously you'd need to take his supplies, food, water, litter box, and all that sort of thing. So that is how I would suggest riding in the car with your ferret. Now, there are some things that you should also take because you're going to a home that your ferret is not used to. I would suggest getting some sort of exercise pen, or a small animal playpen is what they're called. I actually bought one. I use it on my back patio so Joey can go outside sometimes and play out there. I wrote it down, I have the Midwest Small Animal Pet Playpen, and the ID number is 100-29. And I can show that to you in just a second, along with a baby gate that I use to block the stairs. These items might be good to take to a relative or friend's house that you may be going to. If your ferret is coming along, it might be a great way to keep them safe. So let me go get those and show you what they look like. Okay, so here is the baby gate that I purchased. I like it because it's nice and solid. There aren't any little places that he could get through. It's worked well, and I think I got it at Bye Bye Baby, I believe. And I told the lady at the checkout what it was for, and she thought I was crazy. But that's okay. It works perfectly. And over here, we have Joey in the Midwest Pet Playpen. And he's trying to dig his way out, which is something you'll have to think about if you use this in a guest home. They will try to dig, so you might want to put it on a different kind of floor that is not carpet. Yeah, he's not happy about being in there. But it gives a nice, safe alternative if you're in someone else's home, if you're worried about the ferret getting into things. It can also be used to block a Christmas tree, because Christmas trees are dangerous to ferrets for climbing and getting into the water and all that sort of thing. So I hope you consider getting those items. They are really useful in another person's home especially. And it's also important that before you go on your trip, you look up a ferret qualified vet in the area you will be traveling. We know that ferret vets are harder to come across, so you really should do your research first and find the emergency vet in the area, because you don't want to be waiting for something bad to happen, then try to scramble, try to find the vet. Just better to know ahead of time. And ferret proofing. Ferret proofing, where the ferret will be in the house, is absolute must. It's the most important thing I'll be talking about. It's because ferrets are going to explore everything, and in a new home, you don't know all the places that they can get into. You really have to get down on their level and look and see, okay, what can they get into? What is going to possibly cause injury? A lot of things with rubber they might want to eat and ingest, which could cause a blockage, and they would need to go to a vet and possibly have surgery, and it could possibly kill them as well. So being sure there's nothing harmful they can get into or eat, especially with groups of people, like if you have family members that are older or family members that have a lot of medications, they might drop some medication, not even know that they did that, and the ferret might pick it up, and that could be very toxic and could be deadly as well. So just things to think about. Also, recliners in homes are dangerous because the ferret could get up inside of that recliner, and if somebody goes and sits down and pulls that arm to get the footrest to come up, it could injure your ferret underneath there. So recliners, stowaway beds that go under couches, things like that that you may not have in your home but are in the home you're going to. Just try to keep the ferrets out of there if you can, or be sure you educate everybody that before they sit down they need to be sure that there's no ferrets in there. Also, you need to be sure that the Christmas tree is blocked. I mentioned that earlier. You need to be sure that toilet lids are down. Be sure that candles are out of reach, especially if they're lit, because that would just be so interesting, and I'm sure a ferret would love to knock that over and start a fire. Knickknacks. Knickknacks could be great fun to drag off somewhere into a stash, and knickknacks may have little pieces that they could pull off and ingest. And I will go ahead and post a link to an article about ferret proofing. It's just a general ferret proofing article that might help you think of other things that you'll need to check out, because I know cabinets are a big thing. Luckily, he has not figured out how to open a cabinet, which I'm thankful for, but a lot of ferrets can, so you'll need to worry about cabinets as well. So I'll post that article and you can read through that. If you want to leash train your ferret and just leash them in the new home and then just leave them in their cage the rest of the time, that might be a good option. That way you can have more control over where they are going. If someone in the family has the flu or recently had the flu, keep in mind that a ferret can catch the flu from a person, and if a ferret has the flu, the ferret can give it to a person. So proper hand washing, just be sure that you're mindful of the flu. Also, keep in mind that ferrets can have allergies. In hotel rooms, they use really harsh cleaners sometimes on those carpets, and that could break your ferret out. I know Joey had a reaction when I had my carpets cleaned in my house. He got a rash right under here. So you'll need to have a plan for if the allergies start to act up. What are you going to do? If you're in a hotel or someone's house and that's happening, you'll have to think about that. Also, if somebody else in the family has a dog, it would be a good idea to separate the ferret and the dog, just because you don't always know. Like, dogs can be the sweetest, most nicest pet, but you have to remember that a lot of them were bred to hunt. So the dog might go after the ferret, even though it's so sweet and nice, because that's just in their genes. And you shouldn't hold it against the dog, but you should just be smart and be sure that your ferret is safe and away from the dog, or very, very well monitored. So I believe that is it. I have this list down here that I'm looking at to check. I mean, obviously you need to be sure that everybody knows, as I said before, no table scraps. It's in the best interest of that ferret. You don't want a sick ferret in the holidays. It's not mean. I can't say that enough. It is not cruel to not feed. Or I'm sorry, it's not cruel if you don't feed an animal something from the table. It's absolutely the best thing. So that is it. I hope that this video has been helpful. Please, if you have any other safety tips, put them in the comments section. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, Joey the Trained Ferret. And thank you for watching this real long video for me. I think it's important, and I hope it helps save a ferret, either save the life of a ferret or help prevent injury or illness. And please share this video with any other ferret owners that you know. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.